Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office with a detailed update on Tropical Storm Ophelia for September 22nd, 2023 on this Friday. In today's update, we're going to time out the latest on Ophelia and how it's going to impact your area, along to go with some heavy rainfall, strong winds, and some big time storm surge. Also, if you would really like to hang out with me and talk to me on a daily basis, be sure to check out the WeatherForce Discord server. There will be a link in the description right below this video. It is now official, open to the public, and a lot of you were wondering about that in the past. So here is the Discord server. So this is a look at the very latest GOES 16 mesofloater satellite imagery on Tropical Storm Ophelia for September the 22nd. And as we can see here, when we kind of zoom out, showing you what the whole storm basically looks like, we definitely got some heavy rainfall that is occurring on the northern side of this. We have one of our viewers, actually, Linda Snyder, that lives near Jacksonville in North Carolina, probably getting a lot of heavy rain out of this. Jordan Fate, that lives near Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, also getting quite a bit of rainfall and some strong winds that are coming in out of the north. But now when we zoom in on this system, we can definitely see that we have mesovortices that are going on or that are occurring with Ophelia. And this is kind of a signal to us as forecasters that Ophelia is becoming better defined and it is continuing to strengthen. In fact, we might even see near hurricane force winds sustained on the southwestern side of the system. Would not surprise me at all with this big fetch of wind that's rotating all the way around. Something to keep in mind. Once this moves onshore, you could get some big time winds with hurricane force wind gusts for sure out of this. So now the question is, or you all are wondering, why is there no deep convection wrapping all the way around this system? For one thing, we have dry air entrainment coming in out of the south, so you can see that. That's why there is no convection on the eastern side of this. And secondly, we have shear that is kind of moving through the system. And if we look at these patch of cirrus clouds, if you kind of look at that very closely, once this kind of replays again, you'll see a patch of cirrus clouds right in here. See that? That is moving this direction. We got some feathery white cirrus too moving towards the center, and that usually indicates we have shear of about 30 to 40 knots, and that's enough to keep this from rapidly organizing with its deep convection to able to wrap on the upshear side of the system. But nevertheless, it really doesn't matter now. Ophelia has been designated by the National Hurricane Center with 60-mile-an-hour winds, and this is a big system that we are tracking right now. So this is a look at the latest NHC advisory product that I always like showing you all because you guys are awesome. So right now, winds are at 60 miles an hour, movement to the north-northwest at 12 miles an hour, and we already have tropical storm warnings out. Now, if this is able to get to maybe 70 miles an hour at its peak intensity, or maybe even a little stronger, we could see hurricane watches issued later on today or late tonight for areas like North Carolina, maybe for Virginia, something that you don't normally see very often. And this is kind of a wake-up call that, yeah, these systems could really pop up very quickly without warning. And this one, kind of a great example of that. So could this become a hurricane? Probably not. I don't think it will, but it will be close, within 5 miles an hour of doing so. Most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds. So if you're on the North Carolina coast like Cape Hatteras, it's going to be Friday at 2 p.m., Friday at 8 p.m. for the rest of North Carolina coast, and then eventually over Norfolk, Virginia by 2 in the morning. By the way, those tropical storm chances of winds happening are anywhere between 80 to 100%. So you are now likely and experiencing those tropical storm force winds now, and they will get stronger as the center gets closer. So I want to read this all to you, and you guys are probably like, why are you reading this, David? Are you reading this from a movie script? No, I'm not. This is official information from the National Hurricane Center, and it is my job Okay, it is my job in the weather office here to provide you the best information that I can for you all without overhyping, without scaring you all. This is important, all right? I know a lot of you don't like me reading stuff, but we have to. That's just how I roll with things, all right? So just understand that. So this is as of the 11 o'clock advisory, 11 to, by the way, the 2 o'clock advisory is out, and that's just intermediate. This will be updated at about 5 o'clock this afternoon. So tropical storm conditions are expected along portions of the southeastern and mid-Atlantic coasts within the tropical storm warning area today and into Saturday night. There is a danger of life-threatening storm surge inundation over portions of eastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia, including the Pamlico, as well as Nassau and Pamlico rivers, the lower James River, and the lower Chesapeake Bay, where storm surge warnings are in place. Residents in these areas should follow advice given by local officials. Heavy rainfall from this system will produce or could produce flash urban and small stream flooding impacts across portions of the mid-Atlantic states from North Carolina to New Jersey through Sunday. Swells generated by this system will affect much of the U.S. East Coast through the weekend, likely causing life-threatening surf and rip currents. So we're also talking about high surf with this system too, folks. So it's not just the rain, it's not just the wind, it's going to be the large crashing waves that bring with these systems. So how much rainfall can be anticipated with this system? Again, it depends on where the heaviest rain actually falls, but right now we're thinking near Cape Hatteras as well as near Wilmington, you might see 4 to 8 inches of rainfall. If you're in Salisbury, that's in the Maryland area, you might see 2 to 4 inches. Look at this. Even in Philadelphia, New York, you might see 2 to 4 inches of rainfall out of this system. Nantucket, this is a widespread system, folks, unlike Lee, where most of it, or most of the rain kind of impacted areas like this, right? So it was just kind of a short area. This is a much larger area that a lot of people are in danger here. It's not just the wind. It's not just the storm surge. Freshwater flooding could just be as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than the winds that bring with these systems. So keep that in mind. Down here, boy, lots of heavy rainfall, flood warnings, flood watches out right now, tropical storm warnings. I just pray that you all are taking my advice pretty seriously here, because even so this is a tropical storm, these could spin up very quickly. Storm surge forecast here, if you are in the Pamlico and Ponego rivers and sounds, 3 to 5 feet. If you are in the Surf City, North Carolina, might see as much as 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. Anything in the yellow here is up to 5 feet of storm surge, by the way. This includes for Norfolk. Yes, Norfolk is over here. You could get some pretty serious storm surge flooding as well as heavy rainfall flooding. This is for you, Dylan. You're in the Norfolk area of Virginia. I know I don't like giving out people's locations, but this is important to you. If you are near the water, please evacuate and move to higher ground if you can, all right? Because this is not good at all. Lower Chesapeake, 2 to 4 feet. Lower Potomac there, possibly 2 to 4 feet. Upper Chesapeake Bay, right around 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Yeah, storm surge that extends up the bay here of Chesapeake. Delaware, 1 to 3 feet is expected. So now, how much, like, what's the risk for flooding? Now, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, that a moderate risk could be issued for flooding, and we do have one out here for Wilmington, for Hatteras, or Cape Hatteras, that is, in North Carolina, with a moderate risk now, a level 3 out of 4 on the flood index concern scale, which is a 40% chance that you could see some big-time flooding in your area. We also have a slight risk, and look at this, all the way across New York City, Hartford, in Connecticut, under a slight risk for flooding. This is a big area, okay? A big area, lots of rainfall and flooding out of the system is anticipated. And if that's not enough, even Boston and Nantucket are under a marginal risk for flash flooding, including for Albany under a risk for flooding too. So a big population here, estimated population here, I'm guessing over 25 to 50 million people are under the threat here of some serious flooding. So you really need to take my advice seriously, folks, because I'm only here to provide you the best information that I can possible. Looking at the NAM 3-kilometer model on where that rain is going to be heaviest and when could it arrive in your area and when you might see some quieter weather afterwards. So this is a look at about 6 p.m. So again, the time and date is above my head, above the Tropical Tidbits floater satellite imagery, but just make sure you add 3 hours onto the 3 o'clock that you see above my head, because this is local time, which I'm in Pacific time, so just keep that in mind. All right, so some insider on the time there for you all, if you were wondering. So 6 p.m. on Friday, this is where the rain is going to be. If you are in, say, portions there of Maryland and Delaware, it's going to get into your area. Boy, it is coming down pretty dang hard. If you're in Norfolk in Virginia Beach, going to be pouring there. Thunderstorms, maybe some water spouts and some strong winds anticipated with this. And you can see there, lots of rain coming down out of this system. This is, by the way, by midnight on Saturday, September the 23rd. Yes, it's fall for you all, and this is going to be a little bit more weirder than a fall storm. Not a nor'easter, but instead it's a tropical storm on the first day of fall. And yeah, look at heavy rainfall and strong winds are going to continue all the way through the overnight hours on your Saturday. By the time we go into, say, 9 in the morning, that storm moves onshore and it kind of falls apart as it does so, right? That's what tropical storms like to do. They'll fall apart once they move on land, but still lots of rainfall spreading well inland from this system into West Virginia, as well as lots of North Carolina, even eastern Tennessee, and yes, New York City could get some pretty intense rainfall out of this system tomorrow. So stormy Saturday if you're in New Jersey, if you're on Long Island, City Island, if you're in Nantucket, if you are in Connecticut, Rhode Island, if you are in southern New York State, if you're in Vermont, New Hampshire, you get quite a bit of rainfall out of this. Yeah, impacts will be well spread away from where the center of Ophelia moves onshore. And then you're not done with it. Maybe a break with showers tonight with another impulse of moisture moving through the area. And that's the core, by the way, of Ophelia. It's going to kind of turn and move this way. And therefore, you can expect a second round of intense rainfall and maybe some thunderstorms as that moves towards the northeast. And that's through Sunday early morning and early afternoon. So keep that in mind. A break maybe Saturday night into Sunday with another wave of rain coming in thereafter. So how much rainfall could you see out of this system? And some of you are probably wondering about that. Definitely a lot of rainfall can be anticipated with this. If you were in New York, you might see as much as 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, what we discussed on the NHC, the graphical thing there. And maybe as much as 6 inches over Wilmington in North Carolina. So some big time rain, flooding, storm surge there. We'll be looking at the waves here in a second, but maybe 3 to 4 inches, maybe even 5 inches perhaps over Norfolk in Virginia, Central Virginia, as well as Maryland. You get quite a bit of rain out of this. My sister has a Pokemon store actually in Maryland. I'm not going to exactly disclose the exact location because I don't want to get in trouble for like stalking someone, my sister. But she has a Pokemon store, and I'm hoping that store will hold up very well with Ophelia as it moves northward. Yeah, so Megan, please pray that your store goes well, all right? Hopefully you get the business. I'm sure you're going to get the business. And that's how much rainfall you're going to get through the next 60 hours. These are about a 2.5 day rainfall totals. Now, the wind is going to be the annoyance with this system. It's certainly big time winds, possibly likely down trees and power lines, power outages, certainly an expected likelihood here once the system moves onshore. And it is going to move onshore by about midnight tonight. So another 6 hours, well, another 9 hours, I should say, before it makes its way onshore. And wow, look at these easterly winds, folks. And yes, Hurricane Chaser Chase that is actually watching me film this in the background. He's muted. Don't unmute yourself. I know you're listening. Big time winds. Hurricane Chase. Actually, he can go out there and chase this right now if he wanted to. Some big time winds here with sustained winds anywhere between 55 to 60 knots or so. This would be more like 65 to 70 mile an hour winds perhaps as those winds move through. And yeah, winds are still going to be strong. Look at this. Along the coast of New Jersey, you're going to have some big time winds there as you get that easterly or northeasterly flow. We have a front actually that kind of develops right in here, a diffused front. So therefore, you're going to get inflow winds ahead of the front and a kind of more inflow winds too behind the front. That tropical front, we should say, in other words. And there is Ophelia moving over southern Virginia at this point, but still going to generate some wind. Now, about those wind gusts, how strong will these wind gusts be? This is the wind gust SWAFT forecast. This is surface wind gusts, by the way. And this is, again, a model. This is not the actual real deal. We don't know exactly if you're going to get 70 mile an hour wind gusts over Norfolk. The chances are there for wind gusts that could exceed hurricane force, and we could be right along the coast here easily. You might see wind gusts between 72 to 80 miles an hour. That is very, very strong. That will really cause a lot of damage. Wind gusts between 65 to 75 miles an hour over much of central and along the coast there of North Carolina, like Cape Hatteras, could see some big time down trees and power lines. Wind gusts between 40 to 50 miles an hour over New Jersey. If you're on Long Island, 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Southeastern Pennsylvania, maybe 45 to 55 mile an hour wind gusts are certainly a possibility. So yeah, I mean, wherever you see this green is going to be wind gusts of at least over 34 miles an hour. And this is a big system with a large wind field similar to Hurricane Lee, but now only that this is going to make a direct impact on U.S. territory. Their wind field is going to be impacting a huge area. So get ready, folks, for a lot of power lines down. Now, due to the fact that this has quickly popped up and it is not going to work in favor of my schedule today, we're not going to be able to do a live stream on this tonight, unfortunately. I wish I was able to, but it's just not going to work out with my schedule today because I have other things that I have planned after this video is released. But sometimes that happens, right? I can't make every live stream because I have things going on outside of Discord, outside of YouTube. I have in real life things that I have to take care of. So I hope you all understand that very much. That's why, we have winter season, we have severe weather season next year to go through, and we have another hurricane season for next year to also look forward to. Well, I shouldn't say look forward to, only one season at a time, but if this is your first time watching my videos and you like the content, be sure you do subscribe. Now, looking at the significant wave height here on the European model, definitely some high surf out of this. Wave heights anywhere between 10 to 15 feet. Maybe some breakers, especially approaching Cape Hatteras here, could approach 20 feet. That is very high. And if we go and look at the maximum individual wave height, maybe some peak breakers, so some of the biggest waves or biggest sets could approach 30 to 40 feet. That is very high indeed. That will be enough to really cause a lot of pier damage. There could be a lot of beach erosion, coastal flooding along the Cape Hatteras Peninsula, as well as the inland spots there, the bay. It could really get inundated pretty significantly. And look at the maximum individual wave heights here near New Jersey. 20 to 25 feet perhaps is really, really a big deal. So do not think that this is going to be a weak system by any means. This is a biggie, and that's why we're here making videos on it. Today, I have actually signed off, and I'm not going to be doing any updates on 90L, since right now, this is really exploding. Oh yeah, look at all the lightning on this. Hurricane Chaser. Lots of lightning going on with this system right now, which means that this is trying to better organize very, very quickly. Well, anyways, you all, before I do end the video, I did want to show you all that we do have a Discord server. If you all haven't participated yet in my WeatherForce Discord server, there's a link in the description below this video. Please join today. We're excited to have you all in there. We have Alex Baller. We have Hurricane Chaser Chase that is in there. We have Butterdog. We have we opened the server yesterday, and we have already a lot of people in there that are enjoying themselves. So if you want to join today, click the link below this video for more information on that. Also, if you want to follow me here on YouTube, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Hit the like button and share this video with your family and friends on social media, and make sure you have all notifications turned on. Well, that's going to do it with today's video. Thank you all for watching.